What does it mean to be the smartest person in the room? Now, how about the smartest person in your town, your country, the world? What happens when you look across the galaxy and to others, that person we just mentioned is just above average? In the world of DC, the average person on Earth possesses a 4th, 5th, or even 6th level intelligence. Some like Lex Luthor or Mr. Terrific are classified as geniuses that can be up to 6th, 7th, or 8th depending on the source material. So when I bring Brainiac 5 into the conversation and tell you that he has a 12th level intelligence on a scale that exponentially increases as it goes up, I say this with no question, as he's the smartest being in the DC universe. He's been a bedrock member of the Legion of Superheroes in nearly every incarnation. That being said, who is Brainiac 5? Where is he from? What has he accomplished? And well, why is he called Brainiac? And how is he related to one of Superman's most callous and cold-hearted villains? All this and more in today's video. Brainiac 5 is an odd character, because your first instinct is to connect him to Brainiac, which isn't a wrong thing to say because there is a direct connection to it. But it's that Brainiac is just pure, undiluted evil, cold and calculated, a computer-like being whose lack of empathy causes him to go through the universe in search of ultimate knowledge, collecting data and destroying the original in the process, and keeping some aspects of it. In most cases, these are the collections of bottle cities, most famously, the Bottle City of Kandor, the last living vestige of Krypton. He's one of the most detestable and powerful beings in the DC universe, and has grown to be one of Superman's iconic foes. But then we have Brainiac 5. The original Brainiac debuted in Action Comics 242 in 1958 as a flesh and blood human-like being. 3 years later, Brainiac 5 first appeared in Action Comics 276 as the 5th version of this character, which hey, in this context we see Brainiac 5 as a descendant of the first Brainiac. Simple, right? But at some point, due to the Brainiac computer kit made by Edmund Berkeley years earlier, DC decided to align the character with this revelation, and thus made him to be like this living computer android. But this created an issue in that Brainiac 5 is a living being and technically Brainiac isn't. But to DC's credit, they corrected this. Okay, so here we go. Brainiac 5 is a descendant of Real Drox No. 2, the adopted son of the original Brainiac. His adopted son freed the people of Kolu from the computer tyrants. One thing to note is that he has a 12th level intelligence, which is important. Now, he married and found that his children inherited his intelligence, which made Brainiac more of a title of honor than anything else. The average Kolun is about a 10th level intelligence, where Vril and his descendants inherit the 12th level. One thing to note, the Legion of Superheroes sits about 1,000 years in the future, so to account for the fact that there have only been 5 Brainiacs, it was explained that the Koluns have long lifespans, roughly 200 years. Now this can vary from version to version, but for the most part, this is his origin. Brainiac 5 eventually contacts the world outside of Kolu, working with the United Planets and the Time Institute. He was instrumental in creating the time travel technology that allowed the Legion to travel to the past and meet with Superboy, closing that loop where the Legion was first introduced in Adventure Comics 247, where they met with Superboy and gave him his initiation. Shortly after stabilizing this technology, he became a regular member of the Legion, existing in every version of the Legion thereafter. Brainiac 5, or Brainy as he's sometimes referred to, is a strategist and essentially the team's researcher. His plans and research have helped the Legion get through so much, and he's responsible for some of the team's most iconic aspects. One being the Legion Flight Ring, which replaced the retro future flight belt that the Legion was using beforehand. He had a hand in practically every version of the team, and thus became a major player in a lot of ways, becoming one of the more recognizable characters from the Legion. So, it's time to dig a little deeper, and look into some of the major events involving Brainy. The Legion of Superheroes has been around for 70 years, and Brainiac 5 has been a constant presence through most of it. With that much history, you can bet he's been at the center of some major events. I can't cover everything, at least not in this video, but let's spotlight some of his most Brainy-centric storylines. In the original Legion continuity, Brainiac 5 was brilliant, until he wasn't. His 12th level intelligence was a gift, and a curse. That intellect brought with it emotional instability, and when things unraveled, they unraveled hard. One of his earliest disasters, he created a rogue AI known as Computo, an invention that turned against the Legion and killed one of Triplicate Girl's bodies. And the consequences only escalated. He soon found himself targeted by Stargrave, a powerful android who claimed to be Brainiac's father. Stargrave manipulated Brainy into framing Ultra Boy for the murder of Ayn Rand, Ultra Boy's former lover, who had actually been killed by Stargrave himself. Already burdened with guilt and confusion, Brainiac 5's mental state deteriorated. In a desperate attempt to prove his theories, he turned his own friend, Professor Jackson Rugarth, into the unhinged cosmic being known as the Infinite Man, a being who would later become a recurring threat to time and space itself. It was Brainy's genius weaponized against everything he stood for. In the Reboot timeline, Brainiac 5 was sent back to the 20th century with a squad of Legionnaires. While trapped in the past, he adopted a pet monkey named Coco, met his ancestor Brainiac 2, and once again built Computo, because apparently no matter the timeline, Brainiac 5 just can't help but tinker with dangerous AIs. When he finally returned to the 31st century, there was a glimmer of emotional progress. After reconnecting with his mother and surviving a reality warping anomaly, Brainiac 5 seemed a little more stable. Computo, however, wasn't done. It resurfaced as a new threat, this time spawning a radical AI collective called Robotica. But instead of destroying it, he chose to help it evolve. That decision changed everything. Computo gained sentience, let go of its violent tendencies, and stood down, dissolving Robotica's campaign of terror. In the Threeboot era, Brainiac 5 worked closely with Cosmic Boy to battle the powerful telepath Lemnos, and engineered a weaponized device similar to the Phantom Zone projector to stop the Dominators. But his most personal arc revolved around Dream Girl. She was killed during a wave of terror attacks, shattering Brainy's emotional defenses. But grief didn't dull his intellect, it sharpened it. He devoted every part of his mind to bringing her back. Eventually, he preserved her psyche in the astral plane, letting her appear to him in dreams. It wasn't enough though. He found a way to bring her back physically by transferring her essence into the body of a powerful psychic. An attack left her blind, but she was alive, and when Brainy proposed, she said yes. And, in the final crisis Legion of Three Worlds, Brainiac 5 faced his most cosmic challenge yet. All three versions of Legion were brought together to face Superboy Prime, and with them came three Brainiac 5s. Despite their vast egos, they collaborated, combining their intellects to bring down one of the most dangerous threats to the DC universe. Over the years, Brainiac 5 has made his mark across multiple TV shows and animated films, each version offering a different angle on the genius Kowloon. In the DC animated universe, he first appeared in the Superman the Animated Series with a brief cameo, but it was Justice League Unlimited that gave him a real focus. In the episode Far From Home, Brainy pulls Supergirl, Green Lantern, and Green Arrow into the future to stop the Fatal Five. Unlike his cold ancestor, this version was fully organic and emotionally vulnerable, especially around Supergirl. To fall in love, and in a poignant twist, she chooses to remain in the 31st century with him, finding a purpose and connection she never felt in her time. Then came the Legion of Superheroes animated series in 2006, where Brainy was reimagined as a nanotech-based cyborg, sleek, pink-eyed, and striving to prove himself. Originally part of the Kowloon hive mind, he broke away and joined the Legion, but always felt pressure to live up to the legacy of Superman. Season 2 took a darker turn. The original Brainiac tried to possess him. With the help from Superman and his clone, Brainy fought back, regaining control, but guilt drove him to leave the Legion, while Brainiac's essence quietly rebuilt itself from the armor Brainy left behind. On Smallville, Brainiac 5 was created by the Legion as a reprogrammed version of the original Brainiac, portrayed by James Marsters in a redemption twist. In the Arrowverse, Jesse Rath portrayed a fan-favorite Brainy starting in Supergirl season number 3. Originally time-traveling to stop Reign, he stayed in the 21st century after a future virus made returning impossible. Over time, he grew into a key member of the team and formed a touching relationship with Nia Null.
They're here for the time ship.
Reckless, but logical.
More recently though, in the Justice League vs. the Fatal Five and the Legion of Superheroes movie in 2023, Brainiac 5's story centered on redemption again. Created for evil, he turned against his programming, joining the Legion's Academy, and earned Supergirl's trust. Their relationship blossomed from a reluctant partnership and then to something more, because even the 12th level intellect can outthink his heart. Brainiac 5 is one of those characters who proves that intelligence doesn't always come with clarity, and that being a hero isn't about perfection. Across timelines, reboots, and reimaginings, he's been everything from a cold logic machine to a lovesick dreamer, and sometimes both at once. Whether he's building world-ending AIs or risking everything to save the people he cares about, Brainiac 5's journey is always a fascinating collision between heart and mind. If you enjoyed exploring the story and want to keep diving into more corners of the DC universe, especially ones that always don't get a spotlight, consider subscribing. I cover characters like Brainiac 5 because they're layered, complex, and honestly just really fun to talk about. And hey, a like or comment goes a long way to help the channel. Let me know in the comments below, what's your favorite version of Brainiac 5? Is it the love-struck genius from the Justice League Unlimited series, the pink-eyed cyborg from the Legion of Superheroes anime series, or the emotionally evolving Brainy from the Supergirl TV series? Thanks for watching. If you need more Legion content, check this playlist right here. But for now, and as always, take care and have an awesome day.